this lesson we'll continue the process of actually adding that sort of thickness to the vehicle, like creating the kind of the interior geometry here. So we've got the kind of the side here, and we've actually created this, and we're just going to the middle here, the origin, so that we can mirror this over to the other side. But we need to kind of create geometry for things like the hood and underneath the car and also in the back. So let's go ahead and look at how we can do that. Now, let's say we're going to start here on the hood. So the first thing that I want to do is actually add some resolution right in here. So if we take a look at this, we basically want that hood to come across from kind of right in here. I don't want to pull this geometry all the way from the top because we don't need it. So what I want to do now is go ahead and grab these edges, okay, and I want to create some resolution in here. So I'm going to go to Connect, and this time we're going to use some of the options a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and choose maybe 3 segments. I'm going to go ahead and pinch those together and slide them down. Okay, so we can really have a lot of control over where these edges are actually placed. So I can go ahead and pinch those together, and I change the number of those. So if I want to just have 2 now, I can come in and do that. Okay, I can come in and add that type of geometry in there. Okay, now let's say I want to. Let's say that's okay with us. And now let's say that I want to add one that's more kind of right on this side of this line, right in here. Okay, so I can come in and add another line in there, and this time we're going to shape it a little bit more. So if we add just a single line, and let's kind of move it down, we go ahead and add that. And so we want to add a single line and make sure that my slide is at 0, and turn off the pinch, and then I can move it down there, and I'm going to just move it down kind of to that point there. Okay, and I'm going to actually move it so this point is where I want it, as opposed to this point down here. And then I can take these vertices, and I want to move them along the surface. Now in this case, it's a pretty straight shot, so I can just go ahead and move those up. Okay, but we can also do is use a local reference instead of a view, and that will, if you're doing something that's a little bit more curved, that'll help you out a little bit more. But what I want to do is go ahead and create this kind of edge that's right along the front part of this door. So I'll go ahead and just move those into position, kind of right along there. And I can space these out a little bit more if I want to. Kind of move this back. And I accidentally grabbed my view cube there. But that is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move this back. And this guy as well. And just kind of space all of these things out so that we don't get any dents or anything in there. So just kind of smooth that out. All right, and from this point, this is where I want to go ahead and pull my hood from, basically. Okay, so from kind of right here, and I can go ahead and move that back just a little bit if I want to. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this edge, okay, and if I want to go ahead and select all the way up, I can go ahead and just hold down Control, click on the little arrow next to loop, and I can select all the way up to the front there. Now if I look in from the top view, you can see that the next edge that we have is basically where the hood is, right? So I want to make sure that I have at least one edge there. So let's go ahead and just hold down Shift, pull this over, okay, and then we'll go ahead and stop there. So I'm going to pull it kind of till this point is right at that spot, right in there, okay? And so now I can actually shape this before I continue. Okay, so I can go ahead and just kind of pull this over, and just from the top, just kind of move this over so that kind of follows along with that line of where the hood's going to be. Okay, go ahead and pull that over, and pull that over like that, and then we can check that from the different views there. And I think that's going to work for us. And we might want to actually add one more edge loop in there. So I can take that and click on Ring to select the entire ring, go to connect, add 1 with the 0 slide, say OK, and you can actually just even kind of move that up a little bit. Okay, and then I want to take this vertex here and move it up because I want this to go. If you look at from the front view, you want it to go straight across there, pretty much. So you want to go ahead and just kind of move that just a little bit, and then come in from the side here and do the same thing, and just kind of get a nice clean look there. Okay, and it's not going to match up, just exactly, but you want it to be fairly close there. And so we'll create a nice curve there. Okay, coming along this line right in here. So once we have that, okay, we now have the next line that we need to worry about. Okay, and that's going to be this line right in here where this little detail is on the hood. So what we want to do now is select those same edges. Okay, go ahead and select the end edges. Go ahead and select that loop all the way up to the front. And now let's go ahead and just extrude that over once again. Okay, and I'm calling it extrude. It's really just kind of cloning that over, and it's pulling that geometry with it. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. Let's go ahead and pull it up to that top ridge there, and just go ahead and pull it forward a bit. Okay, and you can see that the contour already sort of matches that, so you don't have to do a lot of tweaking as far as that goes. You can come in and do a little bit if you want to. All right, and so now what we can do is come in, and I'm going to take and add one more line right in here. Okay, I want to add a line right in here. Go ahead and connect that and slide this over so that we have an area that we want to keep kind of at the same level, let's say. Okay, and then if we take these edges that we just created, and we'll go ahead and select that entire loop, and now I'm just going to rotate these so you can see how this high point is back here. So what we want to do is actually create this this high point just by rotating this. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this up, and I also want to move it up a bit so that you just get a little bit of a change there, and then a little bit more of a drastic change up at the top. Let me go into the side view just to get a little bit better view of this. So I want to just rotate that. Okay. And so you get end up with something that is kind of like that. Okay. And you can come in and give this a little bit more shape. Okay. So for instance, I can take this and just kind of pull some of this geometry back and give it a nice. Make sure it's got kind of a nice curve there. So a lot of pushing and pulling of points, but that's okay. Just kind of pull this over and pull this part of the hood up, and you just want to maintain that kind of curvature, but we're just getting that kind of that little detail there in the front, just kind of getting that in there so that we can then continue to extrude that hood over to the side. I'll just grab this and continue to pull this up and just match this up with our artwork and our various views that we have here. So we'll go ahead and pull this in. All right. And this guy can come forward a bit. Okay, to do something like that. So it's just almost flush with this guy up here. Okay. All right, so now we can go ahead and continue now. Now at this point, it's going to be a fairly straightforward matter of just pulling this over. I just want to make sure we get a nice curve in there before I do that. Okay, go ahead and pull this over just a little, and same thing down here. And let me go ahead and just straighten this up. Pull this out just a little bit as well. I'll pull that back And so just take this opportunity to kind of shape things out just a little bit more. All right. Okay. So now what we want to do is take this edge, and we still have that selected. So now we can go ahead and just pop this over. And so I'll go ahead and just pull this over. Okay. And this we want it to be, it's fairly level. It may even want it to be a little bit higher. But I think I want it to be pretty much level with what we've got here. I'm going to pull it up just a little bit so we get kind of a nice crown there on the hood. I'm going to take these vertices, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way down and make planar. And hit the wrong guy there. I want to hit the Z just to make those planar. And I want to pull them out here in this direction. Just something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add an extra edge loop in there. Go ahead and connect that and pull that out just with a 0 slide so it's right in the middle. And then pull this out so we get a nice shape there. Okay, and come in and modify this shape just a little bit if I want to. Okay, and just to kind of smooth things up a bit. Get everything kind of nice and even. So there we're starting to get something that looks a little bit more like a car. We've got the kind of the hood area built over. In the next lesson, let's go ahead and continue this process by looking at bringing this back end over. It's going to be a lot simpler process of doing that, and also creating the bottom part of the vehicle. So we'll go ahead and continue on in the next lesson.
Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for more updates.